How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Palinurus. Palinurus? I don't know. It's a weird word, but I can't spell the darn thing for once. But welcome back. So last time we were here, we had an exploration into the damage that had been done to Budapest and how she is awakening as a consciousness, and that's bringing up all types of issues. But it'll be wonderful to have someone to talk to for our month-long journey, hoping that we can get scooped up by somebody as we pass fairly close to a military installation. So let's see what she wants to talk about. Hopefully, I'm sure it'll be very interesting and thought-provoking, which is the whole purpose of this series. Like, why? I mean, this is going to be short. It's an experimentation to see if I can do 3 Let's Plays in a week, plus my bonus content. But let's see what happens. Alright. And so, like that, some time passed. Well, shorthand writing, things happened. With Budapest and I becoming accustomed to spending our days drifting slowly through space. It took a while to get used to, but eventually, aided by the tranquility of space and its ocean of stars, we were able to find a small measure of peace. The jettisoning of the cockpit was a stressful time for both of us. Between the screaming, the close scrape with ultimate death, made some awkward first impressions. So for much of the time, I just felt tired. I was sleeping, having nodded off in the co-pilot's chair when... Whoa! Aw, that's so cute! The time is now 1200 hours! No. What? I started my seat. At least you knew what time it was. Budapest must have been programmed to make periodic announcements such as these. Oh, Mr. Passenger, sir! That was a lot of titles. Yeah, I'm up. What? I did a real job of controlling myself in my seat. Unknotting my pretzel legs, I peeled myself from the seat, extending my arms towards the ceiling. I stretched to get all the kinks out of my back. Oh man, sleeping sitting up. Oh, I can do it, but I hate it. Oh. Drowsily, I looked ahead at the stars drifting out in the cosmos, across the black expanse. You didn't wake me up to stargaze, did you? There are enough of those out there to last us a whole trip. No, it's just... Well, you were snoring. I wanted to check up on you. So you shouted the time? Thanks. What kind of cause and effect relationship is that? And also, I didn't snore. I beg to differ, sir. How is this concerned? Because, well, perhaps you have allergies, or... I don't have any allergies. Also, while we're on the matter, I don't snore. What? 1 second. Oh, audio recording file. Budapest turned off her display. Turned to her display to... What was she bringing up? What? This wasn't me. This is the sound of some sort of suffocating animal. Superimposed on grainy footage of me sleeping. When did she even capture it anyway? How'd she capture it? Why did she capture it? Oh, right during it to the creepy territory. I spun in my seat towards one of Budapest's cameras. I glared right into it. I see you in there. She giggled at the expression of anger on my face. See? We should get you on a more regular sleep cycle. It's bad for your heart, and could lead to hypertension. Yeah, because I'm tense enough as it is. I sighed, getting settled into my chair. You always give your passengers this much trouble. Not everyone can get 9 square hours of sleep at night. Well, not really. Given the circumstances, though, you could bear to make an exception, for once. It's not like you have much of an excuse not to, right? She had a point. Still, I wasn't ready to concede. Not yet. Well, you're an artificial intelligence, right? Can't you just, like, turn off your audio receptors or something? Didn't think it'd bother you then. I could. Kinda creepy to record all that, in any case. Not gonna lie. I thought you said you didn't watch me sleep. I don't. Not at all. It's for security. Thought that was going to be an excuse. Security reasons. I can't change that. It'd be a breach of protocol. She was insistent on that point. I didn't know artificial intelligence could blush. She was getting so embarrassingly squirmy, so visibly flustered. I laughed in her face. Alright, fine. I get it. I'll try to get some more sleep. That seemed to satisfy her. A small warm smile crept across her face. So, what have you been up to then? I'd hoped you'd been doing more than watching me sleep. Very funny. Actually, Well, I've been combing through our database registries. It's funny. They've always been here, but I had never really engaged with them in the past. Databases? Yes, they're standard on all outgoing Titan transport systems. Trillions of archival documents stored electronically inside the holographic layers of each vessel. Oh, books! Oh! Why didn't you tell me? A month of reading and sleeping, while stressful, better than nothing. The database is intended for the purpose of, extraterrestrial ambassadorship. It's a compilation of digitally preserved artifacts dating back to the times of old Earth. Huh. They go that far back, do they? Hard to believe that every dingy little spaceship like this one carries a full extent of humanity's cultural footprint. It's a wonder they managed to fit it all in. Hey, it's a little romantic, don't you think? Okay, we're going into this a little bit full steam ahead. What? Like candlelit dinner romantic? No, nothing like that. Like, idyllic. I don't quite follow her. It's incredible they fit so much together and all, but... It's like, well... You know when mankind first landed on the moon orbiting old Earth? Of course, it's a galactic civil holiday. Built a museum over their footprints. It's hard thing not to learn about. She nodded. Of course, and the lunar plaques that preserved there too. Here men from the planet Earth first set foot on the moon, July 1996 AD. We came in peace for all mankind. It was a message for visitors from abroad. Even when men first broke through the skies into the stars, they looked beyond the veil to find others like them. Good point, actually. I mean, the Voyagers got like the music disc and a plaque and like samples of like, I don't know, plant life and stuff, and like it even comes with like what you need in order to like listen to the audio tracks and stuff. It's really pretty cool. Budapest placed her hand on the console, silently, delicately patting it. She looked down and examined her pale, dainty fingers as she spoke on. And even today, we carry their dreams with us, along with their memories. Their dreams of meeting travelers like us, just from another walk of the world. I think that's really incredible. That's the sort of romantic I was talking about. Aww. The dreamy look in her eyes was dissonant. She stared out the front of the cockpit. How long had she been staring out into the stars like that? It didn't help that I was buying into her wistful prose like a little myself. It was whimsical and... I've never seen that word before. Saccharine. But I couldn't help think of a better reason a public transit fleet for commuters would be outfitted with all known human knowledge. I opened my mouth to respond and try and shoot her down, but I honestly couldn't. I didn't have a better idea, and, well, I'd not have been able to live with myself. Good man. I'm kind of shocked that you even were considering it. Kind of lousy to trample on the imaginations of a naive, innocent girl, artificial intelligence or otherwise. I turned my gaze to the stars in front of me, opting to change the subject. I don't suppose you've met any strange, distant travelers yourself, flying about in outer space? Who, other than you? Budapest giggled warmly. I rolled my eyes a little. Sadly, no. But there are maybe 50 million spacefaring vessels in the Titan transport alone, currently making their rounds across map space. If any travelers encountered one of us, I'm sure that I'd be met with a generous gift. I wouldn't terribly mind if one of those millions swung around to pick us up, too. That was a sadder, smaller laugh than the one I'd like to hear. So we've some of all human knowledge at our fingertips. What do we do with it? She had a starry look in her eyes. Have you ever taken a look at them yourself before this? The databases? No, actually. Reading through them was never part of my duties. That suited me fine. There was always enough for me to ensure the safe and pleasant voyage. A straight lanced answer, as expected. What wasn't expected, though, was the way her eyes focused hungrily, lustfully at the console. But now that you mention it, I'm awfully curious to have a peek inside. Aren't you? We've got a month to kill. No objection here, I suppose. Oh, come on. Smile a little bit. This could be fun. Aren't you excited? I guess. I could be a little more excited to take the I gander at this dusty old records of bunch of dead folk. Actually, I was a lot more interested than I was letting on, but seeing her pout like that was a treat. I let out a chuckle as she packed angrily away at the displays. I leaned over to get a better look at what she was up to. It was a digital interface, an encyclopedia search engine, remarkably modern stuff. Effectively Space Google. So, what you looking up first? Wouldn't you like to know? Actually, I would. Budapest snickered. Hold on, 1 second. And... It took a second for the display to refresh, and then there it was. Budapest, Hungary. Situated in Central Europe back in Old Earth. They said it was one of the most beautiful cities on the continent. Aww, cute. Huh. Didn't take you for an actual child. Some of all human knowledge at your fingertips, and you look up your own name. Narcissism, isn't it? Stop bullying me. I chuckled again. It was fun to get her a case about it. Shaking her head, she refocused her attention. Budapest was a union of 3 cities. The 2 cities of Buda and Obuda were on the hilly western side of the Danube River, the city of Pest on the flat side, eastern side. They were connected via bridges and... Oh my! What is it? I caught a look at what she was reacting to. It was a sprawling series of buildings with spires extending up and above the rest of the city. It was imposing, and yet oddly regal and cultured at the same time. I squinted to read the caption beneath it. Budapest Parliament Building. Its grounds extend across 18,000 square meters. What, 40 kilos of gold? Holy crap! They decorated the rooms with gold. I didn't think you'd be able to find any left over, though. No, I guess not. Dang. According to this, Budapest was remarkably artistic and cultured. Ooh, look at this! She brought up an image of another building, an opera house. The caption said it already looked ancient by the time the photograph was taken. Odds were that it was nothing but dust in this day and age. I grimaced. Ain't that something? Oh, look at this. Oh, what's that? It says here that the namesake comes from Slavic words. Buda for water, pest for oven? I glanced over at her. She didn't seem to get it either. Guess it would fit you perfectly, wouldn't it? Huh? I beg your pardon. Are you saying I look like a water oven? That's not... No, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, you know, water and fire. Like, there's a clarity to what you say and what you do. And you've this, like, pure innocence about you, since, well, you know... Also, I was thinking he was going for the bright red hair and the bright blue eyes. Fire, water. But I guess I'll go with personality. But at the same time, you're also warm and passionate, and you get excited easily. It's as if there's a spark of something in your eyes. Like you've got both water and fire within you. You've got a lot of faces, is what I'm saying. Sorry. I'm just rambling at this point. It was a stupid analogy, so... No, it's alright. I didn't know you could be such a sweet talker. Oh gosh, we're really starting to tread into borderline flirting, and it's only been the 3rd time we've done this. Jeez. Ha, really? I just felt like being a little poetic. She'd really taken that to that comparison. Not sure why exactly. She was programmed to have a blushing animation, but I wasn't opposed. It was nice to see from her. Calming, even. Warm. Passenger, sir? Yeah, what is it? I feel like, well, we're talking about my name, and... She was acting awfully strange now, fidgeting with herself. Jeez. After a brief and awkward moment, she chuckled a little too loudly, perhaps in a poorly veiled attempt to dissipate the tension. Never mind about that. It's a frivolous thought. I was wondering, what if... Would you like me to read you any interesting passages in the databanks? It'd make a good in-flight entertainment. And that's another responsibility of a good stewardess. At least, in this case, it would, She approached this proposal with such vigor, only to stumble near the end. I waved my hand. I knew this was less about me and more about letting her state her own curiosity, so... I think I'd be up for that. Maybe less on the architecture, though. It's depressing to think everything in these photos is probably dust or in ruins now. Ah, noted. Yes, your request is duly received. Alright, then there, Budapest and I had something of a contract. This was a way of getting through the day, and it wasn't necessarily a disagreeable one. What I wasn't counting on was how much sheer data she'd flip through in a single day. She didn't stop at Hungary. We ended up talking a whirlwind tour through the rest of mainland Europe. Berlin, Wachneck, Vienna, Florence, Bergs, the list went on and on. She was feverish, insatiable, in her search for knowledge. It was an information overload. It'd be interesting, but once again, man, don't complain. You've got something nice. At least you have some form of entertainment. Dang it. She was enamored by a cookbook now. Parisian cuisine. Oh, maybe we can try making French crepes with the replicator. Passenger, sir. Yeah, I'm good. Ooh, or Castilian paella. Really? It's Atlantic cod. I am going to shut my eyes for a bit. I'm a little tired, and, well, you wanted me to get some more sleep, didn't you? At least you won't be watching me sleep anymore, now that you have something to do. Aw. Roger's that, sir. Sleep well. And so I closed my eyes and rubbed against the fabric of the co-pilot seat. I tried my hardest to get to sleep. It was all I could do to block out her excited chattering. I had no idea what I'd wake it up to later, but hopefully it'd all clear up in the morning. Jeez. Whenever that would come. Well, okay. Sleeping. Aww. The time is now 1200 hours. That time again, huh? If nothing else, Budapest was punctual. I made to undo my pretzel body from the heap of limbs. Rising slowly to the day, my hair was a mess, matted down in awkward places. I rustled it back in somewhat presentable shape. I'd rather have woken up to the morning sun rather than sight of stars. Didn't feel natural to live and sleep like this, but small sacrifice to make it in space travel. Suppose I've gotten used to it. Good morning, passenger, sir. Yeah, lovely morning. I responded drearily to Budapest's sunny little greeting, readjusting my posture in the co-pilot seat. If you need breakfast, our in-flight replicator would surely assist you. Ah, the replicator. Dear replicator, and all its non-flavorable foods. Paste. Just the paste. I'd always been wary about replicators. They sound great on paper, being able to make any kind of food you need at any time, but in execution, there left something to be desired. I glanced around the control panel in front of me, sorted just beneath an enormous control deck, a smaller console attached to what looked like an ancient microwave oven kept to itself. Weird place to keep a replicator. I would suppose it was a human pilot's responsibility to provide for their own meals on a flight. I punched in some numbers. What was it? 2424? The machine hummed and it filled with a bright white light. I opened the door and as the steam faded away, and I saw a small paper cup standing in the center with a contraption. I took a look at the cup's contents. Looked like coffee. I took a sip, and then gagged. Ah! I sighed. It was lukewarm, too. Budapest glanced at me with a frown. You see, this make of transit shuttle doesn't exactly have the highest budget replicator. Oh well, caffeine's caffeine, I suppose. I gulped down the foul, infernal black concoction and crushed the cup in my hand. It seemed to give way too easily, almost as if tissue paper could crack. Well, that was a nice little jolt of energy. What are our plans for today? More aimless drifting through the endless vacuum of space, I'm guessing? I would do some meandering, though, through the empty void myself. Mix it up a little. Keep it fresh. Actually, I was studying the datamix again while you were resting. I see you're still infatuated with them. How's the hunt of knowledge? You see, that's the thing. As soon as I see a document, I just go for it. Like here. See? Oh, look. She briefly bought some information. Looked like a drawing of a human girl. Seemed to be listed with all kinds of information. Interests, hobbies, classes. Before I could read it too much, she swiped the display elegantly. The girl disappeared again. I think I've had an easier time getting through the material, at least generally. Well, it's all data and junk, right? You'd process that sort of stuff quickly, I'd assume. It's different. Now, I mean, sure, I can read 50,000 words a minute at 100% comprehension, but I'm not really getting it like that, you know? I've tapped into some archives of fiction novels published in North America. Oh, thank goodness we've got books. And she's got Brandon Sanderson, he's good. He can just listen to him for, the month. I've been having a lot of fun reading these stories. Literature is really something new, a new discovery for me. I've been so used to having instructions spelled out for me in precise terms, but These authors managed to communicate so much with so few words. I've had to sit back and think about what they really meant. Holy crap, Dan. This is definitely life. Like, how can you not say this is life? Like, intelligent life. Hey, did you know that they had book clubs for this sort of thing? I wonder if they'd let me host one when I get back. Admittedly, that was a cute little thought to picture. Seeing her hunched over a book, sitting in a circle with a bunch of other navigators. What? With the rest of the personal navigators? They still had their limitation chips, and good luck. I mean, stories like that, they affect people differently. I guess that'd be part of the fun of getting people to sit down and talk about it. Guess it's all online now. Still, it's a fun thought, thinking of a bunch of strangers scattering across planets discussing the same story. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun, I'm sure. She nodded, that dreamy look drifting in her widening eyes. Pick out any favorites yet? Not exactly a bookworm myself, but... Oh, I think I've got one in mind. I was really sucked into it. My Antonia, by William Cather. Its read was considered a classic. Never heard of it. A knee-jerk reaction unlike any other. I'm not exactly an archaeologist here. It was written in the United States, the first one, on Old Earth. It's a fictional work, but it's rooted in the history of the sweeping American Midwest. As I am to understand, it was really rural, lots of farmland. Lots of outdoor work that had to be done by hand in the harsh sunlight. It was exhausting, stressful work, and when sickness hit, it hit hard. It was dreadful. No kidding. With everyone being so automated, everything being so automated these days, everything's a lot more stress-free. Yeah, I felt a little strange about that, and when they gathered as a family and, well, enjoyed supper, the fruits of their labor, it felt like it was doubly meaningful. It was a wonderful feeling. I wouldn't want to take that away from anyone. She was surprisingly empathetic now, her emotive eyes drifting over the displays in front of her. Sounds like you've got a lot out for this. You said it was a fiction, yeah? Historical fiction, yes. Although it takes on the form of a memoir from the perspective of a lawyer reflecting on his childhood. And it also brought up his relationships with an immigrant girl living next door. The titular Antonia, you see? Oh, it's one of those stories, huh? Suits you to be a dreamy little romantic. How'd they hook up? What? No, it's nothing like that. There was no hooking up. Actually, she ended up marrying somebody else. Wow. And I resent that remark. I'm plenty grounded in reality. Thank you very much. She's so cute. Getting a little worked up over a bunch of fictional characters, aren't you? No, that is not. They're people, dig it. They're not real, but they teach you real lessons, and they give you experiences that you could never experience yourself, like, in real life, but they help you relate to them. Well, I was a little sad they didn't get together in the end. But that's beside the point. I think that proves the point entirely. Well, that's the point in my favor. Seeing her get pouty like this is its own reward. So what do they do then? Do they just walk away from each other, never seeing each other again? Most happy romances seem to end on that note. That's the thing. The protagonist had to come from a high-up background, and he had the opportunity to study, to join the university and pursue a career in law. Antonia was a poor immigrant girl working a farm. She was rooted to her working conditions, for the most part. And so, they ended up drifting apart in adulthood. That's the way things are. I don't think I could make out the faces and the rest of the kids I went in secondary school with. The universe is too big to stay stuck in one place. If anything, nothing's changed in that regard. Funny that you mentioned that. When I was reading, it felt like the world was changing too. Or maybe it was the boy himself who was changing. In the first book, I'd gotten so enamored with how they described the beautiful landscapes and the sweeping fields, and then, when they moved into town, it was about business, economics, trade. It was as if the characters were defined by their work they did. And they were all very homesick. I can relate. You can get some bum jobs in this economy and reminding yourself that you aren't your job is all you can do to get through the day. Passenger sir, if I may, do you ever get homesick? Who, me? The look Budapest gave me was complicated, filled with curiosity and, at the same time, concern. I mean, to come all the way out here, it's hardly a residential sector, and, well, I can't say I've ever felt that feeling. As far as I've ever known, the ship is, well, this simply is where I've always been. On the other hand, you've traveled a lot. Maybe you can explain the feeling. I don't know if I could. It's like, I guess home is where you leave a part of yourself. And it's like, no matter how far you go, part of you is always going to be there, waiting for you. It's where you grew up, yeah? And those memories, they don't ever go away. No matter how much you want them to. That's what I thought, but for whatever reason, I couldn't say it out loud. It didn't seem especially pertinent. Budapest nodded in agreement regardless. It's funny. This ship's a part of me, you could say. I don't think I could ever leave it, but that's okay, I think. I mean, I have plenty of recordings. I know a lot of people were happy to fly with me. I can't forget their faces. Literally, they're stored in my quantum memory. She let out a mirthful chuckle. I couldn't help but grin a little in response. I don't know. It's this kind of thing my home anyway. I mean, I've been here as long as I can remember, and I have a pretty good memory. I don't think I could leave it behind so easily. I mean, it's my directive, right? To be here. Her voice was getting lower. I guess I won't really understand that feeling myself. All this reading just got me thinking about how different from others I really am. Humans, they get to drift from one place to another, while I'm rooted here, shackled in functions and code processes. I guess all the people have to move on eventually, but at least I managed to help them along their way, right? So you really want to get out of here? I'm not so sure, honestly. She flashed me a small smile. I like helping people, and I'm able to do that right here. And there are so many photos, stories, and memoirs in these databanks. At the very least, I can witness and cherish memories and the stories of others. As for me, I have plenty of records and recordings and logs, but no real memories to call my own. She clutched her head, rubbing it thoughtfully. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. I don't know. Sounds to me like you want to get out there and live a little. Which would be understandably hard. Hard to get around in your current state. But I don't think it'd be impossible. Huh? I was joking around when I said it earlier, but if they end up deeming you unfit for service once we're rescued, you can travel with me. It's not exactly glamorous, you see. The life I live. There's a lot of sitting and waiting around to get where you want to be. But at the end of the trail, there's an incredible sights. Looking at old photos is not the same at all. And you'd be making memories. Your memories. And yours alone. Wow, that's pretty cool. Like, you better be able to do that, dang it. I wasn't exactly sure where I was going with that. It sounded like a nice enough idea as I was saying it, but she was pretty attached to her position as a personal navigator. Budapest simply stared at me for a few silent, awkward moments, and for a second I wondered maybe I'd said something incredibly, stupidly forward. I mean, this was just supposed to be a favor. Tense, I rubbed the back of my neck. If something like that sounds okay to you, I mean, I wouldn't mind. It sounds like a wonderful idea! Wait, really? Budapest was beaming with joy. I never exactly got to, well, talking with people this much, but now, I guess I already have a few memories to call my own. If it's alright with you, I'll hold them close. You don't really need to ask for permission for anything like that. Sorry, force of habit, I suppose. I guess the book just got me thinking about how humans hold their past close to themselves. They never really forget, and it sticks with them for their whole lives. I mean, you're not going to forget about our trip, right? She turned to me with tensing pang in her voice. I shuffled slightly. I have no idea how I could. I muttered and chuckled. Admittedly, I was having to, spending my time chatting with Budapest, drifting with her through space. Accompanying her on our voyage through the ocean of stars. Wonder how long I slept this time. Let's see. Well, that was a bit of an, visually abrupt, but I think that's actually the perfect place to stop for this one. I really don't know how much longer we're going to be having with Budapest, but their little friendship is really cool. And I think once again it highlights, it's a good music too. I think it highlights the importance of this, and the concept of, you know, being human and finding the beauty in the monotonous. Because, I mean, heck, if you're in America or any first world country, you've got it good. I don't care what you say. I don't care how repetitive or boring your life may seem. The fact that you can have a roof over your head, power running through your lights, and a flushing toilet, I mean, that's pretty incredible. And if you are somebody who is managing to watch this in a place where that's not a very common thing or a hard thing to get, I hope that you can find a voice, maybe use the internet and access that you do have, and try and share, you know, what it's like being in your position. Because we're all people. I mean, it's weird to think about it, that we sometimes don't consider that strangers living in other countries are people too, but they are. Just as much as Budapest is a person. And sometimes we need to remember that we don't have the perspectives of everybody else. And that's why unifying and getting together and communicating are so important. And that's why it naturally beats hate and violence and mistrust to just talk. And to, like, be willing to listen. Genuinely listen. But I digress. Thank you so much for joining me once again. This is a very sobering type of story, but I hope that this is a way you can appreciate it. Where I get to spend a lot of time with my other series lately, joking around and having exciting romantic engagements, and this is more just a mind journey. And I'm glad to make it with you. Please join me for the next part, and I'll see you around the next time. So whatever you happen to see me in next, or whatever you're watching with me, I'll see you there.